Hi there. If you've stumbled upon this video and are struggling with thoughts of harming yourself, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. If you are in a medical emergency, call 911 instead. I've been where you are. Life really is worth living, though. Please reach out for help. There are loving hands waiting to catch you. Welcome to the Deadwood. I'm Willow the Wendigo. I make my home here. Today, I'm a little pissed off. That's because someone named Daniel Muritz, who runs the channel DLM Christian Lifestyle, made an abhorrent video aimed at people suffering from depression. I'm making a two-part response. This first and much more important video will explain what depression is and show some ways to actually get help for it, since Muritz falsely claims that faith in his God will completely cure any depressive symptoms.
Now listen to me very carefully. I'm saying this with a lot of love. If you truly trust God and have true faith, if you truly understand who God is, you will not have depression.
So don't be shy, grab a beverage or a bite to eat, and let's have a chat. The entirety of Daniel Muritz's video boils down to this: trust in Jesus, and he'll magically cure your depression. This is gross for a myriad of reasons, but before I rip apart his video with some humor in part 2 of my response, I want to take his presentation on here with a more serious tone. Hopefully someone who is enduring depression can glean useful information from this video, whether that means learning more about their ailment, or seeking medically sound treatment they didn't know was available. In addition, I hope this video can also serve as a resource for those who don't suffer from depression, but wish to understand more about those who do. Let's start with the basics. What is depression? Depression is a mood disorder that severely impacts a person's ability to interact with others, enjoy activities, and perform daily tasks. Sometimes it is also called major depressive disorder, MDD, and clinical depression. Unfortunately, it is also common. The Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration is part of the United States government. It found that, as of 2019, 7.8% of adults in the United States had experienced a major depressive episode. Women had a higher rate of depression. Some researchers suspect this is due to differences in hormones, psychosocial stressors, and experiences, such as childbirth. There are multiple subcategories of depression based on why their symptoms present. The following information is paraphrased from the United States government's National Institute of Mental Health website. Persistent depressive disorder lasts at least 2 years. It can cycle between episodes of high and low severity, but the severity must remain persistent among the episodes. Postpartum depression occurs in women after giving birth. It's more serious than the somewhat common depression and anxiety that is often seen within 2 weeks of the delivery of a child. It can cause severe sadness, anxiety, and exhaustion, and it can impact a mother's ability to care for themselves and their child. Psychotic depression consists of severe depression and psychosis combined in one individual. The psychosis might include strong delusions or disturbing hallucinations. In seasonal affective disorder, the sufferer sees depression occur during the winter months due to a lack of sunlight. This depression usually ends during the spring or summer. The depression also returns every year in a cycle during the winter. It's characterized by social withdrawal, increased sleep, and weight gain. The important thing to remember is that depression, which I'll refer to from here on out as major depressive disorder, or MDD, is not simply feeling very bad. Everybody has bad days, or even bad weeks. Each of us suffers through hardship and sorrow, including the unfortunate loss of loved ones. Such difficult circumstances can lead human beings into dark mental spaces that tax our minds and render us deeply sad, or even inconsolable. But while these experiences can undoubtedly bring about depressive symptoms, they are not the same thing as suffering from major depressive disorder. MDD is characterized by persistent low mood to a severe degree. People can experience it in different ways, but here are a few descriptions from people who have suffered from it. Depression, instead, is flat, hollow, and unendurable. It is also tiresome. I don't want to see anyone. I lie in the bedroom with the curtains drawn and nothingness washing over me like a sluggish wave. The diagnostic criteria for MDD are listed in the DSM-5, the 5th edition of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. The DSM is published by the American Psychiatric Association and is widely used in the United States as a guidebook for diagnosing and treating mental disorders. While the manual receives criticism for some of its content, it is in general a helpful and medically sound guidebook for handling mental disorders, up to and including in legal cases. MDD diagnosis is done with a variety of methods. Among them are standardized questionnaires, lab work to rule out organic causes for depression, evaluations of medical history, and evaluation of the patient by a trained healthcare provider. My paraphrasing of the DSM's requirements for a diagnosis of major depressive disorder are: A. 5 or more of the following, most of the day, nearly every day, for at least 2 weeks. Depressed mood, markedly diminished interest and pleasure in activities, significant weight loss when not dieting or weight gain, insomnia or hypersomnia, restlessness, agitation, and fidgeting, or difficulty moving and functioning, fatigue and loss of energy, feelings of worthlessness or excessive or inappropriate guilt, difficulty thinking, concentrating, or making decisions, recurring thoughts of death, suicidal ideation, or suicide attempts, planning suicide. B. The symptoms cause significant distress or impairment. C. The episode isn't due to substance abuse or another medical condition. The more extensive detailed diagnosis guidelines can be found beginning on page 160 of the DSM-5, linked in the description below. What causes major depressive disorder? The exact cause is unclear, but genetic, biological, environmental, and psychological factors are all thought to contribute. There is particularly strong evidence that chronic psychological stress and stressful events early in life are precursors to depression. There are multiple working theories to explain how depression works, though none have been conclusively vindicated. It is difficult to pinpoint any definitive cause for MDD because so many variables may be at play, including the inflammatory response system, the central nervous system, hormones, genetics, and environmental factors. What is known, however, is that major depressive disorder is a real disorder that affects some 280 million people worldwide. It is also a serious illness. Rather than simply making a person feel unhappy, it can destroy someone's ability to take care of themselves, ruin their relationships, and even lead to suicide. Now, here's the part where I get a little mad again. How do we treat depression? We don't know for sure how it works, but we do have verified ways to deal with it. One of them is definitely not this.
Now listen to me very carefully. I'm saying this with a lot of love. If you truly trust God and have true faith, if you truly understand who God is, you will not have depression.
I'm going to counter Daniel's claim here. Major depressive disorder is a mental illness with at least a partial basis in physiology. No religious belief is going to cure it. The best thing religion can do for depression is provide a framework of comfort and trusted individuals who will support you through tough times. This type of support network is, in fact, one supplemental way to help combat depression, but by itself, this will likely not be enough. People like Daniel, intentionally or not, commonly prey upon the vulnerable to sell their religion. Daniel is choosing to prey upon those with MDD in this video. MDD is a potentially life-threatening illness, with rates of suicide depending on severity, but as high as 6%. Daniel even acknowledges that MDD has a suicide risk in the opening of his video.
And the WHO says more than 260 million people suffer from depression worldwide. Now that's a lot of people. And in a lot of cases, it leads to suicide.
Despite this, he peddles a false cure, his religion, as a guaranteed way to cure your depression. This is not just disgusting and coercive. It's also dangerous, because he is actively telling people with a life-threatening ailment to not seek actual medical treatment, but rather to follow his religion and hope for the best. That is, of course, as long as they have true faith and truly understand who God is. Because I assume if they still have depression after converting and end up killing themselves, Daniel would just say, well, they didn't have true faith. Instead of relying on religion as a false cure for your major depressive disorder, there are a variety of medical interventions that can be done. The actions recommended depend on the severity of the patient's MDD, but may include some of the following. Cognitive behavioral therapy. This includes talking through problems with a licensed therapist. They will help address feelings in a healthy way, provide a safe outlet to discuss what you are going through, and establish plans to ensure you are safe at home and able to deal with the struggles MDD is putting upon you. Medication. There are multiple classes of medication that can alleviate MDD symptoms. The various antidepressants available are all more or less equally effective, but have varying side effects. Combining medications and therapy is more effective than using either option alone. Brain stimulation therapies. One example of brain stimulation therapy is electroconvulsive therapy, or ECT. It is generally used if medication does not help the patient, and is an application of electric shock to the brain to cause a controlled seizure. Contrary to the horror movie-esque image many people have of this therapy, where people are tied down and zapped against their will, patients are given a muscle relaxant and put under brief anesthesia so that they are asleep during the procedure. The shocks are finished within a few minutes, and the patient goes home within an hour or so. I should note that ECT is controversial and is considered by some to be an extreme procedure. It should generally be seen as a treatment of last resort, and done with complete informed consent of the patient. Supplemental help. Additional things a patient can do which may help alleviate depressive symptoms include exercising, educating themselves about MDD, spending time with trusted friends or loved ones, and avoiding isolation. While these strategies are not treatments per se, they can help some people with MDD see better results when combined with the above professional help. Now, you may be thinking, Willow, you're telling me not to seek help from religion, but I think I have depression and I don't know what to do. I'm scared to speak up. What do I do? I've already paraphrased the diagnostic requirements for major depressive disorder. It is not wise for people to self-diagnose, because this can lead to medical errors. If you think you are suffering from depression, the best thing you can do is talk to someone you trust. Depending on your age, that person may be a parent, doctor, therapist, or pastor. However, I strongly encourage you to talk to someone in a medical setting, such as a doctor or someone at a hospital, rather than a pastor. This is because they are more likely to be objective and look at your situation without any religious bias, such as attributing your feelings to a supposed sinful lifestyle. A medical professional will help determine if you have major depressive disorder or not. If you do, they will assist you in developing a treatment plan. This will probably include therapy and some type of medication. I have no doubt this whole process may sound terrifying. When we are in the middle of trying circumstances, it can be difficult to sort out our thoughts clearly. But MDD greatly affects our mood and how we see the world around us. It can make difficult circumstances seem impossible, and even day-to-day struggles feel insurmountable. If you do have MDD, it will be affecting your thought process in a negative way. So the best thing to do is bring up your worries to a medical professional. However, speaking about feelings of anxiety, depression, or helplessness can be extremely difficult to do. This is especially true if you have never had a conversation like this before. You may find yourself fighting against doing so, plagued with thoughts like, maybe this isn't so bad, I should just suck it up. If I ask for help, that means I'm weak. Asking for help means I'm admitting something is wrong with me. I'll never get better, so what's the use of trying to change? If I'm depressed, I might get locked up. If I speak up, others may think I'm a burden. Please don't let these types of questions prevent you from seeking help with your pain. Sometimes simply speaking about our struggles greatly reduces the hold they have over us. Other times, getting help with mental health struggles, whether that be via therapy, medication, or simply a network of loved ones who care about you and know what you're dealing with, can literally be life-saving. I have been very close to taking my own life on multiple occasions. I am now very glad that I did not. But during those moments and the years surrounding them, the world felt too big and overwhelming to handle. I understand the feelings of people who suffer from severe depression. I was even hospitalized for mine on one occasion, and my body still has scars from the years I suffered the most. So, what I want to close with are words of encouragement and resources for those who are struggling with this illness. First, don't listen to the voice telling you that you are hopeless and that things will never change. I spent literally years suffering from major depressive disorder, multiple of those years suicidal or self-harming. I thought I'd never be free, but I managed to fight on. Eventually, through therapy, medication, an unexpected best friend, and a loving partner I never thought I'd find, my life finally changed. I still struggle with my mood. It will probably be a lifelong struggle, but that horrible voice, the one that used to tell me to give up, that used to sit on my shoulder so heavily that I couldn't stand up straight, only comes back on very rare occasions. Second, do not trust religion to fix or explain your problems. If someone tells you their God or their energy or whatever else will heal you, I guarantee you that they cannot prove that claim. If they could, they would be world famous. If someone tells you that your depression is the result of sin in your life, or some such nonsense, don't believe that either. MDD is not supernatural. It is a medical condition. It is also treatable, even in severe cases. Anyone who offers supernatural powers as supposed cures for your ailments is either so gullible they believe what they're saying, or so dishonest they're willing to lie to you. In either case, they should not be trusted with your health. Finally, please do not shut others out. Perhaps the most deadly facet of MDD is its self-replicating cycle of loneliness and estrangement. The more bad it makes someone feel, the more they want to withdraw from others, causing them to starve themselves of joy and human interaction, making them feel worse and more alone, exasperating the cycle. Forcing yourself to be near others is hard, especially if they don't understand what you are going through. Major depressive disorder is not a free pass to be a jerk or mistreat other people. But going out of your way to spend time with people who love and understand you and will help you while you get your illness under control can do wonders for your mind. I'm going to end this video with useful links and phone numbers for those who are or might be suffering with major depressive disorder or thoughts of suicide. Remember, there is nothing to be ashamed of if you are afflicted by this illness or thoughts of harming yourself. Asking for help is a sign of wisdom and strength. It's better to seek help while you are crying and struggling to hold up a heavy weight. Much better than to go it alone until that weight crushes you. Regardless of your mental health status and whether or not you suffer from major depressive disorder, I hope this presentation has been informative. Here's the information I'd like to leave you with. Feel free to pause the video if you wish. All of these numbers are also available in the description below. That's all for now. I'm Willow the Wendigo, bidding you farewell. Wherever you are, I hope you have a lovely night's sleep. And remember, you're always welcome in the Deadwood.